The only country to avoid recession in recent years after the great financial crisis was Australia, thanks in part to the commodities boom and strong ties to China. But is the country too reliant on these engines of growth? Bloomberg's editor-in-chief, Matt Winkler, put that question to the Australian Treasurer, Swan.
I would never want to see our economy become too excessively dependent upon one country or one commodity. So the government does have a broad-based approach to our economic growth. But first and foremost, the rock of our policy when we're dealing with economic growth is to ensure that we have our fiscal policy in good shape. And events elsewhere in the world are a very clear demonstration of why a strict, clear and consistent fiscal policy is necessary.
Is there any point when you would consider a Swiss-type cap on the exchange rate or some other set or response?
No, not at all.
And the reason being?
Well, we're committed to market-based exchange rates, and what we want to see as part of global action to deal with the global financial imbalances, which are now playing out in the way they are in both Europe and the United States, we want to see as part and parcel the whole lot of structural reforms that are required in Europe, the United States, and then in the developing world, a further movement towards market-based exchange rates. That's really important.
Turning to the central bank, you didn't know until almost a year after the fact about the RBA governor's pay increase in 2008. Are you planning to do anything to tighten oversight?
Yes, I have. I've put in place a set of arrangements that mean that future decisions taken about those salaries will be in the context of other salaries paid to comparable people in the public sector through an official body we have which does that. So I've taken that action so that when the board takes its decision, it takes its decision within the framework set by government.
The RBA, unlike its peers, doesn't publish votes by the board on interest rates. Isn't this a step towards transparency?
Well, I think it's fair to say that the RBA has come a long way in the past 3 or 4 years, and indeed when we came to government we put in place a number of changes to make their activities more transparent. They've done a lot more on that front than they were doing historically, and I think the way in which they're doing that at the moment is pretty good. I don't wish to buy into an argument about whether they should publish their votes or not. My own personal view is that I don't see that it adds to anything, to be frank, but I understand it's a legitimate debate. The collective view is the one that counts.